Video Games Europe doubles down and stands against Stop Killing Games. Oh no, the lobbies? They are anti-customer? Being against something that's pro-customer? Whoa, imagine my shock. Is this a day that ends in Y? It has to be. It has to be. It's so super silly to me. Video Games Europe has released a 5-page document double down and stands against Stop Killing Games initiative, expanding a previous statement to release days prior. Stop Killing Games is consumer-focused movement. Can we say customer? It aims to prevent online games from becoming permanently unplayable after official support from developers has ended. First introduced by YouTuber Accurate Farms in April 2024, the movement has since surpassed the signature threshold for its European Citizens Initiative petition. In the laws could be implemented to protect online games from getting put out to pasture. However, Video Games Europe, trade association based in Brussels, of course it is, that represents the European video game industry, has made their stance clear. They're not excited about Stop Killing Games, because they cannot be asked to fix their shit, make no mistake about it. Wow, we have to release something for these games to keep working? Nah, we cannot be asked. Europe continues to post Stop Killing Games. On July 7th, VGE published the short statement on its website, saying that private servers are not always a available alternative option for players. Will leave rights holders liable, arguing that the proposals laid out by Stop Killing Games will curtail developer choice, making these video games prohibitively expensive to create. What a bunch of fucking bullshit that you're saying here, my guy. Private servers are not always a available alternative option for players. That's not for you to decide, funny enough. Let me tell you. Because apparently nobody here has ever played a private server for an MMORPG. It can be done by a bunch of fucking nerds in a cave with a box of traps. It's not for you to decide. Even old MMOs that are just shitty still get players. But that's not the problem, is it? Or maybe that's actually the problem, but for a different reason. On July 10th, VG is pending its argument, releasing a 5-page PDF breaking down the reasons for being against the movement. I guess we can open that up. Most notably, the document argued that players purchase a license to access online games, not the game's product itself. Oh my, do you have a license for the MMORPG? I keep saying MMORPGs because they're the best example. It's not just MMOs, right? The consumer does not acquire ownership of that video game. The clear intellectual property rights underpin the entire market and enable the strong investment that the industry has seen for decades. There's no legal uncertainty about the status quo of video games, the statement reads. Huh. So, back in the 90s, if I were to buy a video game, let's say, I don't know, Pokemon Red, everybody knows Pokemon, right? If I bought the game, I had the game, and that's the end of it. But nowadays, that's not happening anymore. So, you had to admit, something wrong happened at some point in the business, and now we're with this trash. And they think they're the good guys? Get the hell out of here. VG went on to explain that allowing for private servers would put players at risk due to lack of moderation control, as well as potentially damaging IPs. They also reiterated that doing so could impact the industry in an innovative way, discouraging risk-taking. What a bunch of fucking bullshit! Private servers was the common way of playing video games back in the day, 20, 25, almost 30 years ago. What are you talking about? Also, as long as people understand these servers are private, you cannot be blamed. What's the big deal? I just don't get it. Premise to implement such plans could lead to less risk-taking, fewer investment credits in developing new games, and potentially fewer jobs. Ultimately, it could lead to increased costs for consumers and less choice, they wrote. The organization also aligned the terms of consumer protection laws in the EU. Noting the companies are required to give a reasonable prior notice before any termination of access rights to a game they purchased. EU legislation also demands that online services for games must be provided for a reasonable amount of time, taking into account all relevant factors. It will be disproportionate for a specific duration to be imposed, that this would need to be valid of all types of purposes, not just games. This smells a lot. Despite their arguments against the Stop Killing Games initiative, the VG ended their paper with the promise that they are committed to and actively support serious professional efforts to preserve video games and recognize the industry's creative contributions, but only under circumstances that don't jeopardize a game company's rights under copyright law. Fucking copyright, look, get the hell out of here. You know exactly that what you're saying is nothing more than a misdirection. Pisses me off to no end. As if with his previous statement, this latest letter has not gone over well with the broader gaming community. Dozens of players have taken to social media to object to the BGE's arguments. Some got on Twitter. They are talking as if private servers never existed for any game ever. Dude, WoW has private servers with thousands of players, and the story that they would care about the safety of players and servers they wouldn't manage is embarrassing. Yes. Yes. It's quite unreal. None of these are problems for players and customers whatsoever. In other words, if instances want to prevent private servers like this, they need to keep their games running forever. And that's not what StopKillingGames is asking of them. Because that will be prohibitive, economic-wise, right? StopKillingGames movement continues to roll forward and will be considered by the European Commission, having successfully reached 1.3 signatures. Dockers Farms noted that a reasonable chunk of those, yeah, spoofed and whatnot. Let's get through this. I think I've seen this a little bit, thanks to a Mutahar video. This is probably the biggest deal, right? Competition from community-supported versions. Such a requirement could lead to community-supported versions of games competing with official versions, potentially jeopardizing the financial investments of the video games companies. This will lead to competition between trademarks, and the original trademark holder may be held responsible for actions undertaken by a community-supported version. We're so close! We're so close to them admitting exactly what's going on here. Now, and I guess I can show this too, right? This community note. StopKillingGames is not denying video game companies the right to discontinue online services. The initiative is merely asking for their games to remain in a functional, playable state after support is ended. As we see, they have mentioned server binaries many times. And one complaint they've seen about this was, well, you see, this could expose our technology to the competition, and they would potentially just copy it, and that would be really dangerous, that would be atrocious, because, of course, that's our code, and it's ours, it's for us to use. First of all, doing that's illegal. Doing that is extremely illegal. Do you want to know how I know? Because that literally happened to a company I worked for. This company was not stealing stuff. They were the guys getting stolen. So, long story short, kind of a short tangent here. Don't want to go too much into detail. We had the small managing app, as you usually have, with a real small company. When I arrived to that company, most of the guys working there left. I'm talking about like 3-4 guys, okay? Really small amount of people. Really local company too. And what they did was they installed the system and they became a rival company. We only knew of this because one of our customers told us that they had that guy trying to get them to go into their system. I was like, wow, what a bunch of fucking bitches. There's no way this is legal. There's no way this is appropriate, right? And thanks to yours truly, this guy right here, me. One day I decided to take the code for the app back home, tinker with it during a weekend. I wasn't trying to become unlawful competition or anything. And using our app, literally by only changing our company's name for their company's name in the server address and our company's name for their company's name in the login, I could connect to their system, to their server, and get all of the information in the right places. That means they have literally the same backend because they just installed it. And even though we tried to do more research about that, of course I told my boss, right, the next Monday. She was quite surprised about that. And we tried to do some sort of reverse engineering. We didn't get far because we didn't know what we were doing. But that actually prompted an actual criminal investigation. And even though that took years, those guys ended up in jail. We're talking about 2 really small local companies, and that was jail time. What do you think is going to happen with these huge corporations? Activision Blizzard, Square Enix, Nintendo, Ubisoft. Do we count Ubisoft? Sure, let's count Ubisoft. EA. You would be lucky if they don't actually kill you, okay? There's no way that kind of excuse can work, because we all know there's nothing more difficult to overcome than copyright laws, okay? As we know, that's not the main problem. That's not even the main problem. That's just an excuse. The main problem here is a little bit of pride, but mostly greed. A little bit of pride in the sense of how dare you enjoy a product we deemed a failure. But why is that a problem? Well, because they're extremely greedy. Because if you can just keep playing an old game in a private way, let's say, and I understand this is not a legal server in that regard, but it's just an example. If you're just playing in a WoW private server for Wrath of the Lich King, I don't know anything about WoW, but I do know that, right? I actually played that a little bit. I only played WoW for, what, a month? It was an okay game, what can you say? I didn't really get too much into it. My friends weren't too interested, even though one of them actually got me into the game. It doesn't matter. If you keep playing that forever on your own, you're not susceptible to FOMO, you won't be paying monthly fees to the company, you won't be paying for new expansions, you won't be paying for perhaps the new games. That's what happened with Overwatch. Overwatch doesn't exist, you have Overwatch 2. And even though it's free to play, it's actually worse than Overwatch 1 as far as I know. So, yay! That's beautiful! But the most important of all, you won't be paying microtransactions. You cannot be just left alone to your own devices because these people aren't selling you a product, they're selling you a service. You're not a customer for these people, you're nothing more than a pay pig, which should never happen. But these companies got way too used to this because, oh look, we can get so much money out of sometimes literally nothing from our side. That's the main problem. The cash flow would try if they let you play these old games forever. What do you mean? What do you mean you want to play the crew? Don't you want to buy and play the new one? Oh, I mean buy the license, of course, okay? You cannot own your actual game. That's the main problem. They're extremely greedy. And you know what? Fuck that. I'm sick and tired of this. Microtransactions have been a malady for the hobby for more than a decade at this point in time, okay? They're selling you sweet nothings for a lot of money. Wow! Skin for $5. Wow, that is so good. $5 for a skin? Are you out of your mind? That's literally nothing. Do you know what I bought for $5 during the Steam sale? Rabbi Ribby. That's an actual game. Wow! $10 for a skin? Wow! $20 for a skin! But the skin is so cool, it keeps changing. $20 for a skin. I wouldn't need to think twice about buying a game for that price. I guess I did with Dragon Quest 11, that was like 130 hours, so money well spent. Speaking of the Steam sales, I bought 3 God Eater games for less than $10. And you want me to pay for microtransactions? Are you crazy? They're out of their fucking minds. And even though I don't agree that DLC in general is a positive, because they can give you more content for the game, you can have, even though it's not necessarily good, a longer life cycle with these games and whatnot. They're so expensive. Oh look! The new Kakarot DLC! Oh, that's kinda cool. Why is that like $35? I wouldn't pay that for a game. I didn't pay that for Kakarot the game and all the DLC I have. I paid what? I don't remember, it's been a while. It was not $20. It was lower than $20. And I got the game the Battle of Gods DLC, Resurrection F DLC, and Trunks DLC, okay? That's insane. It's so much money for so little. But they got way too used to that. Oh, what are you talking about? Do we actually need to work hard for this? Nah, man. Nah, man. There's no way. That can't happen. And as you can see, they keep using the word consumer for a reason. Just shut up, consume product, don't ask questions, and get excited for the next product. Well, what about now? What about now? And as they said, well, but maybe something like this will limit the ability to create, kick-ass games. If they're so poorly monetized, maybe they don't deserve to be alive. They're going to die anyway, so you know.